حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله الحمد لله معز الإسلام بنصره ومذل الكفر بقهره ومصرف الأمور بأمره ومديم النعم بشكره القوي فوق عباده فلا يدافع الظاهر عليهم فلا ينازع الحاكم بما يريد فلا يراجع الممسك المعطي فلا يمانع نحمده جلت حكمته وعز سلطانه على ما أخذ وأعطى وعلى ما أبلى وابتلى ونستعيذ به من سلب نعمته أو إحقاق نقمته ونستغفره مما أحاط به علمه وأحصاه كتابه ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا محمدًا عبده ورسوله ابتعثه ربه والناس يضربون في ظلمه ويموجون في حيرة فبلغ وأدى ونصح وكشف وخلف في الأمة راية الله الثقيلة. All the praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. We bear witness that there is no God except Allah. We bear witness that there is no deity that we worship, no deity that is worthy of worship except Allah. And we bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last of his prophets and the seal of his messengers. He delivered the message, fulfilled the mission, and he strived in the path of Allah. He left behind for us what, as long as we're holding tight on, we will never go astray. And once we abandon, we will never find guidance. The book of Allah and the traditions, the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Amma ba'd. Everyone looks for success, whether that's on a personal level or a family level or community or organization or school or masjid or nation or the entire ummah. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants falah, the word that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala frequently uses in the Quran, among other words of success, but frequently falah, referring to the success in this life and in the hereafter. When we read through the Quran, there are many places actually, multiple places, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us advices that this recipe would work to attain or to achieve the falah, to get the success. And we're going to highlight one of those today. It's one ayah, one line, many of us are familiar with actually, but it's very much worth reflecting on this ayah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. Now, normally I would translate the ayah into English for those who do not understand Arabic, and then we talk about the explanation. But this time with this ayah, I probably will not do that, simply because two of the key words in the ayah are really difficult to translate, to find one equivalent word in English actually. When you read different copies of the Quran in English, everyone will translate it differently because everyone's trying to explain it rather than translate it. So we will go to the explanation right away. When you look at the structure of the ayah, it's a very simple equation. O you who believe, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. At the end of the ayah, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. So perhaps you will achieve the falah. You will become among the successful ones. And in between is the recipe. 4 ingredients. It starts with isbiru. Isbiru is easy. That's from sabr. It's a command to have sabr, to show sabr. And I'm sure all of us have heard many khutbahs about sabr before. So it's pointless to start from scratch. But there are few things that we really need to highlight when it comes to the word sabr or the concept of sabr. Sabr is commonly translated as patience, and that's very correct. But that's only one aspect of it. You can also translate sabr as endurance, steadfastness, persistence, resilience. A lot of different meanings are included in the word sabr. One of the big misperceptions of the concept of sabr is we always think about it and connect it to a tragic event, to a hardship, to a calamity, something bad that's going in my life. So brother, have sabr. We need to have sabr. And the concept is very correct, of course. One of the prime examples of when we show or we need sabr is when something is not going well, when we're going through a rough time. That is very true. However, that's not the only thing. In fact, actually, sabr is something that every one of us needs in almost every single thing in our life. It doesn't have to be bad or sad at all. So, think about it. When you have a little kid who's trying to learn how to read, trying to learn ABCD, well, that's not a disaster or a calamity. Maybe studying for that little kid could be, but it is not a tough situation. It's not a sad situation. But without sabr, this will not happen. We all know that. And not only that, not only the kid, but even the parent or the teacher who's teaching that kid, if they don't have the sabr, it's not going to happen. They're not going through a tragedy. It's a normal life thing. When someone is learning how to drive, it's a good thing. They're waiting within a few months, or they're going to be driving, they'll be independent. But during the process of learning that, they need sabr. And the one who's teaching them needs sabr. We will not come to the Fajr prayer in the masjid without sabr. Coming to the masjid frequently needs sabr. Everything in our life, big or small, needs some degree of sabr. Of course, some of them need more sabr, others might be, you get away with less sabr. But it's an ingredient that we need in everything in our life. Has nothing to do only just with the sad, difficult situations. Then what is sabr exactly? It's a very simple definition. Almost any time in any situation, I and you are doing something that is out of our comfort zone, we need sabr. Whatever that thing is. Without the sabr, we will not do it. It's uncomfortable for us. Why would we do it unless we consciously rationalize, conscious rationalization that even though it's uncomfortable, I will still want to do it because it is good for me. You need sabr for that, to convince yourself it is still worth it. So whether I'm doing something that is difficult, I need sabr. But guess what? Many times, wallah, it's not just about something difficult. Sometimes we do things, they're not difficult, but they're just not working. I keep doing something over and over and over and trying, and it's not happening. How do I continue to try? Only through sabr. Only through sabr. For the past 10 months, not just in this masjid, but in most masajid everywhere in the Muslim ummah, Muslims have been praying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lift this hardship and calamity of our brothers and sisters in Palestine. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be with them and protect them and support them and grant them victory. Have we or have we not? We have. And what happened? Nothing. So what's the conclusion now? Let's stop doing that. There's no point. It's not happening. Is that the attitude that a Muslim has? Absolutely not. Then what keeps me going? Sabr. I will keep trying and trying, whether I see the results or not. Sayyidina Nuh, I might die and not see the results. Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, for centuries and centuries, he kept calling on his people. I mean, aren't we going to stop? It's so obvious. Someone, you talk to them for 70 years and they're not going to listen. Do you really think they're going to listen now? I will keep trying. This is the sabr. Because the result has nothing to do with the effort. This needs sabr. Now, many times, actually, we do things where other people are not doing it. I'm almost the only one, or one of those who are few who are doing it. That really requires a lot of sabr. You know the concept of afaf and decency? Decency in our attitude for the youth, which is now becoming a rarity in nowadays. It will not continue without sabr. It is difficult without sabr. To show your Muslim identity in an ocean of those who are not Muslim, of course needs sabr. It's not going to be easy. Anything that's uncomfortable needs sabr. And without the sabr, the whole journey towards success, towards falah is not going to start. Sabr is necessary. But that's the first ingredient. We move to the second one. The second one is more important. Wallahi, in my personal opinion, sabr is important, but many of us are able to do some of that. We're really falling short with the second one. وَصَابِرُوا. Sabiru. Now, what is sabiru here? And I'm not going to turn it into an Arabic language lesson, but it's very important to get the basic of that. There is sabbara and sabara. There is la'aba and la'aba. There are two things. Let me give you an example. If I'm sitting talking to someone, having conversation, important conversation, and there's a kid who's kind of, playing around or distracting us, making some noise. I want to keep the kid distracted by playing. I throw a ball to the kid. The kid is excited playing with it, okay? And then he brings it back. I throw it again. Meanwhile, I'm just talking to the other guy. I'm doing what I'm doing. What I'm doing here is I'm making that kid play. Am I playing with the kid? No, I'm not playing. I'm just helping him play. The second scenario is I'm having that conversation and the kid comes and I throw the ball and the kid is playing and I leave my conversation and I go play with the kid. We're both playing. I'm running behind the ball just like with him. And he's laughing and I'm laughing. Now we are both playing. Let's come back to sabbara and sabara. Sabara is fa'ala, is the interaction of sabr. Both sides are showing some sabr. Both sides are showing some sabr. There is interaction. We are, generally speaking, we do a lot of tasbir, yes, and that's a great thing. I'm not saying it's wrong. Our brothers and sisters in Gaza are going through a really difficult time, and may Allah be with them. They are showing an exemplary level of sabr. They're doing their portion. And I come and I give a beautiful speech, inspiring, calling on them, be strong, we are with you, strengthen their hearts, which is great, and that's a beautiful thing, and inshallah rewarded. And then I come down, I go to my car, drive home, my day continues the same, everything's going well, nothing else. This is tasbir, this is not sabara. This is not the musabara that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. What kind of patience, what kind of persistence, what kind of endurance, what kind of pain I have, what kind of discomfort I had to go through to share that sabr? No, nothing. I just gave a speech to a very friendly audience and I went home. This is not the musabara that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. The musabara is when someone is hurting and showing some persistence, some hard working, putting the effort, being resilient, doing whatever they're doing, and tolerating the pain they're going through. And I am trying to take some share of that. And we're competing who's going to do more. And when I do some, this hopefully, directly or indirectly, will strengthen their heart to do more. And when they're doing more, it's inspiring for me to try to do more. And that's how we're competing in sabr. Musabara is what will spread the culture of sabr within the community. Once more, if when I say the word sabr, what you're hearing is just to be patient and tolerant of a tragedy or a hardship, that's completely limited and not correct understanding of sabr. Hard work equals sabr. Being committed equals sabr. Because without the sabr, that's not going to happen. Now, what kind of musabara? What are the implications of that? Let's come to more kind of real life examples. It's a very, very simple thing. You have a child who has an exam coming very, very soon. They're going to sit and study. And I keep going back and forth. Yeah, great. I'm so proud of you. Do well. I want you to study hard. I'm going to get you a prize after all of that. Great. That's beautiful. That's great. This is not musabara. Musabara is that I know that there are things that could be distracting for him. I probably enjoy them, but they're distracting for him. I'm going to cancel all of them. Because he needs to be dedicated. The whole house, the whole family is on high alert until this is over. This is musabara. When someone is going through something and I'm supporting with actions, not just with words. I'm not putting off the importance of words. They're very important. But that support is the musabara. That's what everyone in the community is counting on. When some people are carrying a load, and the load is heavy, they're hoping and counting on others to come and help lift up with the load with them. If they don't, most likely sooner or later, they will have to drop that load. Because they are humans. For how long I'll be able to take it? And those who are around them did not do the musabara, did not support them. And at the end of the day, everyone is losing out and missing out on the success. I'll give you another example of musabara. We're all familiar with, but let me highlight it from the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We're all familiar with Ghazwat Uhud, the Battle of Uhud. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam ordered the archers to have their position. They went to the battle. Everything is going perfect, almost over, victory, almost there. Those archers left their place. Now Muslims lost. And 70 of them died. Now I want you to put yourself in their shoes. You are one of those archers. How will you feel at that point? It's devastating. It is devastating. It's my mistake, no question. Instructions were clear. I did that mistake, and now, see what happened. 70 of my friends are dead because of my mistake. Just think about it. We all watch sports, right? And this player who missed this chance caused the whole team to lose. It's devastating for that player. It is a big deal. Now, going back to that story, it is very difficult for these people to go through that. They didn't do it on purpose, but that's what happened. That's the results. Now, what will happen as a next step? Not even that. Even Rasulullah ﷺ was injured in the battle because of that. Now, wasn't their fault? It was their fault. So guess what should be the next step? They should be brought here. It's your fault, and if it wasn't because of you, we wouldn't have lost. Those people wouldn't have died. I wouldn't have been injured. It's all because of you. You, this and that. And guess what they will do? They will push back. No, it was your fault. Your instructions were... And the blame game starts. You know what musabara is? When Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the Sahaba, despite their pain that they went through because of someone else's fault, they didn't say a word. Because we are all one body. A big mistake happened, but we are one body. When we avoid the blame game and pointing fingers, this is an example of musabara. You're hurting and I'm hurting, but I'm not going to say anything. And I count on you to appreciate that and you improve in the future. When we improve our behavior, when I try to do better and others try to support that, that's musabara. It's very easy that we misbehave. It is hard. It needs sabr that we behave good. And when I see people who are supporting that and trying to come, when we volunteer, many people volunteer their time, volunteer their effort, volunteer this and that. when they don't see the support within the family, not just with words, but if all what we can do is words, at least with words. But when they see the support with actions, that is the musabara. Now, very quickly, I'm going to move to the third one. Warabitu. Now, rabitu is a very interesting concept here. It comes from rabata, to tie up. And rabata is a verb that is used almost exclusively for warfare. Those mujahideen, the warriors, when they are positioned in a military position close to the enemy and they are in that camp, that is called murabit. Someone who's next to the horse with the ribat of the horse, and they're in a warfare. And that's one of the reasons that some of the mufassirin, when you read the traditional books of tafsir, talked about this ayah, and they looked at it from the lens of this talks about Muslims and their enemies. Rabata has two elements, because there are many other Arabic words that could have been used other than rabitu. It has two elements. Number one, hard work. It is not just any work, but hard work. The murabit, the warrior, this is a really hard work. And the second element is seriousness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is highlighting that for you to achieve success, there need to be some serious hard work. It is not just like any work. It's not i'malu. It is not is'aw. It is rabitu. I have absolutely no problem with fun. None of us have. But if life is centered entirely around fun, from one fun to the second, to the third, to the fourth, to the fifth, and there's not much serious hard work in between in my personal level or as a community or as an ummah, then where would the success come from? And the fourth one is wattaqullah. Have taqwa of Allah. Now this last one is so critical. The first three could be enough for someone who is not a Muslim. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who decides who gets success or not. But for us, or you who believe, this is one of the four ingredients. Without taqwa and some level of taqwa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't expect us to be the most righteous people who walked on earth. But without some level of taqwa, the other three are not going to be fruitful. This has to be there. The sabr, it starts with sabr and ends with taqwa. And taqwa is your best guarantee that you continue and maintain your sabr. Those are the ingredients. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among the successful ones. Make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the falah in this life and in the hereafter. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. عباد الله، إن الله أمركم أمرا بدأ فيه بنفسه وثنى بملائكة قدسه وثلث بالعالم من جنه وإنسه فقال ولا يزال قائلا حكيما إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أيد الإسلام والمسلمين وانصر وأعلي يا مولانا كلمتي الحق والدين. اللهم من أراد بالمسلمين خيرا فوفقه إليه ومن أراد بهم غير ذلك فاجعل دائرة السوء عليه برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أنت أعلم به منا يا رب العالمين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات المسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات بمنك وكرمك يا أكرم الأكرمين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
دائما. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
أحسن. الله يبارك فيك. الله يبارك فيك. جزاك الله خير. بارك الله فيك.
العب يا رب. الله يعطيهم العافيه والله تتخطب هيك بعيدة نفسها بعيدة نفسها الحين نفس الحكي. الله يصبركم.
عندي شوية كثير
اصبروا صادق. الله يعطيك ان شاء الله قريبا ان شاء الله.